All right, so welcome to our Getting Started webinar. We will be reviewing, the page ladder, how to add fonts, setting up the ReplayIt photo submission account, and how to transfer any material from a 22 account to your current job year. So you'll be able to find all the information I'm covering in the Memory Book Online Manual under the Design and Creation tab. This webinar is approximately going to be 20 to 30 minutes. So where I'm at right now, I am just on our company website, memorybook.com. And at the very kind of upper left, we have a link for the Memory Book Online program. So I'm going to just click on that. We can also get there, if you want to bypass the whole getting to our company site, you can also get there by just going to memoryebooks.com. And I'll bring you here to the login page. So from here, when you're logging in, we're currently on the 2023 job year. And then for the rest of the information, we've got job number, username, and password. And all this you'll put in, you should be getting an email from, or should have already gotten an email from your sales rep with this information. So we're just going to put in our job number, and I'm just using one of my demo accounts here. Now, when it comes to the username spot, whenever you get your logins, you're set up with two default logins. There's the advisor login, and that's your all access. And then there's a staff password or staff login that you'll, the default one, if you have one or two other helpers, can be used to, staff that's just helping on the yearbook. That'll get them in. Now between the two, advisor and staff on those logins, the advisor is all access, meaning you're able to access all areas under Memory Book Online, and staff is a little limited. There's some of those areas under there that not able to access, they're advisor only. So if you're the advisor on here, just make sure you're giving yourself all access there. We'll put in our password. Now, right down below, once we get all this, and before I hit the Let's Go button here, there's a spot down below in the login screen for Forgot Your Password. What this will do, if you click this, this will send, depending on your username, it will send an, you'll get an email, or an email will be sent to that address that's in the system for that. And then you'll get option to reset your login. So after you get the job year, your job number, username, password, hit Let's Go. And that's going to bring us right inside the program here. So the first place we get to is our dashboard, or also our home page. So a few things to look at here. When you first get in, you're going to have a due date to the countdown. So that's just going to give you how much time you have to work on the book before you have to submit that. There's the page status, or total pages. Just a quick breakdown of your progress, just at a glance. So you can see here, we'll also see these same colors when we get to the page ladder. So anything in red, it's not started. Yellow, that's your pages in progress. Green is completed, and black is submitted. Then we have upcoming events. So it's also important deadlines. So first big thing coming up here is by November 15th, we'll get your cover choice, or your artwork for your cover into Memory Book, so we can get that put together. Now this is kind of a hard date on that one, so you really want to make sure that you're getting that in there. As far as the portrait CD, this is a little bit of a loose date. We put a date in here, and that's just to make sure that you get your CDs in. But just depending on when your photographer gets your photos, or even depending on when they come in to take your photos, it could be around this time where you're getting them. So this is a little bit loose of a date here. But when you do get your portrait CD from your photographer, and a lot of days right now, it's you might be getting a link, like an email link from your photographer, as opposed to a CD. So what you'll want to do with that, and we'll go over a little bit more, is kind of forward that on to your sales rep. And the other date that we're showing here is our book submission date. And like I said, this is just my demo, but yours will be different just depending on what you've set up with your sales rep. Moving over, there's tasks. This may, if you come into this, and I'll just click on this here. So tasks, what this is, and this is just setting up your own action, and you can also assign these to staff that's in your yearbook. But basically, it's just your own notes, setting up kind of tasks for yourself to help yourself, keep on track with the book there. Tagged images. This is going to show you how many of your images that you have tagged in the book. Now, tagging your images, your candids and all that is optional. It's not necessary to, or it's not a requirement in order for you to complete the book or any kind of special designing. Where tagging your images does become useful is with our coverage report. So it'll help in when you're building your book, tagging your images, and also kind of promoting fair play. Let's say that you don't want to use over, 3 images per student in the book. You want to try to keep things a little more fair. That way you're getting enough coverage, you're getting more of everybody involved. So this is the tagged images will work with the coverage report, which keeps track of how many people are used. Then we kind of have an overall on what's in the staff inbox, what's staff uploaded, how many images total in your library. Now, when it comes to the staff uploaded spot, this is anyone that's on the account with a login. So whether it's the advisor or maybe you have 2 advisors and 10 staff, this is keeping track of each user's how many images that they've uploaded. So that's kind of just what you see coming in right here on the dashboard. Now, the main areas that you'll kind of navigate through your book, there's going to be between plan. Under plan, now as advisor, you're able to have access to page ladder. This is where you can kind of make and keep a plan of your pages. There's a staff area, and this is where we'll go to set up your logins. Fonts is where we're going to add fonts to your collection. Styles, this goes along with fonts. Styles are basically setting up pre-made text boxes, so when you drag them onto a page, they'll start in a particular font style and size. And the last thing under plan here is ReplayIt. ReplayIt is our private photo submission process. So this is something we'll show you how to set up, and that way you can get the community involved in contributing images, and that way you have content for the book. Under create, this is where you're going to have new page designer, page ladder. There's the page mover, image library, and coverage report. So right now, as I'm in an advisor, you're seeing everything. If you're or if you're a staff person working on it, staff is going to only have access to the page ladder because that's where they'll go to access pages. They can also, under create, they can jump right into the new page designer and access pages that way as well. So they'll have access to page designer, page ladder. The page mover is advisor only, as well as the coverage report. And staff will have access to the image library as well. So from here, the first place I'm going to jump to is I'm going to go under plan and page ladder. Now here in the page ladder, one of the first things you'll see if you're a returning advisor, most of you will see this teal bar here. Basically says we've loaded the sections, titles, and descriptions from last year to help you get started. And there's a couple different options that are right here. So load last year's descriptions and sections. What this is, if you opt for this, is next to each page in the page ladder, you'll see a section and description spot. If this information was filled in your 22 account, it will then carry over into your 23 account and kind of fill those in. Now, even if you load last year's sections and descriptions, once those are in place, they're still able to be edited, so you can then still update the content of your book. Certain events change. Maybe you want to move some of those around in the book where they were from last year. So it's a good way to get started, but again, it's not anything that's set in stone where you can't change it, once it's filled in. Same with kind of load last year's page designs. Now I will go ahead and click this one. What this one will do is when you first get into your book, now as long as all your pages are with an outline of red, these are your not started. Anything with yellow around it, this is in progress. If I complete a page, you'll see the outline changes to green. I'm not going to submit the page, but if we submit the page, it'll then have an outline of black. Now, as far as loading last year's page design, it only works with pages that are not started. Here we go, I need to get that back. Like I said, it only works with pages that are not started. So when I click this, what it'll do is it will bring over the layout from last year in template form. And what I mean by that is if there were on these pages that I have it coming over, so loading last year's designs, what this will do, the photos are removed, the text is reverted back to a filler text. A lot of times it looks like, you get a lot of questions, hey, is this in another language? It's just Latin gibberish. It's just filler type, like many design programs have this, but it's just a way to show that there's type. There's a text box there. So basically your layout comes over ready for you to drop in new content and new text for the new year. Also, what you can do here on the page ladder, next to each, below the section description, you'll come down, you'll see that there's 2 staff spots for the page. Now, as you are assigning logins, or once you get the logins assigned or created, you can then come back with those logins and assign those to these pages. Now, one thing about assigned pages is if you do use this, if you're the lone advisor working on this, there's no real need to set up other staff logins or even assign pages. You're the only one working on it. But if you are part of a yearbook committee, yearbook group, it comes in really handy assigning pages and setting up staff logins. Now, if you do have pages that you start assigning, only the login assigned to that page is able to edit the page. So everyone can still see it. They can access it, they can look at it, but only the person's login assigned to that page is able to edit the page. The only exception in that is if you are the main advisor. If you're the main advisor, you're still able to jump onto that page and make any kind of correction necessary. So advisor does have override power there. Let's see, coming down, what else do we have useful here on the page ladder? Over here on the left, we'll see that we have certain filters. So if you want to see, a lot of times if you want to see all the pages, everything there, leave each one of these set to all. That way you see everything. But if you're wanting just to check out certain specifics, like if you want to see all the pages done by this particular staff member, you can then find their login and it'll show only their pages. Page types, a lot of times your book's going to be in color, but we're just going to keep it all page type. All page statuses, so if you're working on the book, maybe you want to quickly just check out, how many pages have I not started yet? Or how many, have I completed any pages? You can then quickly check those out here. Now just remember, when you're done checking that out, you might come back and put it at all page statuses just to make sure you're seeing everything. Same with all lock statuses as well. Now, if you do get into these areas, so if you're, let's say you're brand new, let's say you're not bringing over something from anywhere, just wanted to touch base real quick back on section description. You're just hover your mouse just a little off to, into this area here and click, and that's where it's going to open the fields. And you can, make an intro page or title page, principles page. Basically, you're putting your own information in these spots. These are your own notes to help you keep track of what you want that page to be in your book. Now, once you have any of this information in, so let's say you added your own section description information, or maybe you even just came over and assigned a staff person to the page. Whenever you're done adding that info in, make sure you come up to the upper left and click on that purple Save All button. And that will just ensure that your notes or your assignments that you have here stay in place. Let's see. Now from here, we've gone using the filters. Another things that you can do here in the page ladder area, under this print drop down, you'll have two options. There's print all and print ladder. So after some people on the print ladder, what this is going to do is, well, I'll just click it real quick, and there we go. Actually, it's wanting to open up or print this here, but it generates basically a quick PDF that you can either print out or save it. Some people still like to have something kind of physical to mark on. That way they can kind of put their own notes on it, and then maybe come back and put those updated notes within the page ladder here. Just wanted to show you that, you can print the page ladder out and further update it, or just have a hard copy on hand. If you have students that are working on it, maybe you need to pass something out to kind of show them, what the order is. The other option under here, the print all, this will come in handy down the road, right as you're getting ready to maybe submit the book. What print all does is it generates a full book PDF proof. It's a full PDF of your book. It's kind of like a medium or low to medium resolution, so that way you're still able to save it. Now you can save it as a PDF to your system, or you can print it out. If you are saving it digitally, saving the PDF to your desktop to share later for review, let's say, if you need to get this over to another set of teachers to review, or to your principal, one thing I suggest on that proof, at least the full book proof, is to share it, Google Drive or Dropbox or Microsoft OneDrive. Because it's too big to attach to an email to send that way. So I just wanted to give a heads up. If you do the print all, you're going to have to use some kind of sharing service to get that over, to whoever is helping you review. And let's see, and also other access that we have in here on the upper right here. Now, if you're an advisor, I'm not sure if your staff, if you'll see this, but advisors will also have a quick access to the page mover that's here. So click on that, and that'll take you right in here. Oh, I just went back there. We'll go back under page ladder. All right, so that kind of basically covers what is here. So other than putting in your notes, loading last year's info, if you're a returning advisor, you have your filters. So the other main thing a lot of people use the page ladder for is accessing pages too, because you can come right here. If you see a page in the page ladder that you want to jump onto and start working on, you just click it, and it'll take you to that page in the designer. So we'll go back. We're going to go back under plan. Now, from the page ladder, the next area under plan is staff. Again, this is an advisor-only area. Now, when you first get into your job or your account here, you're set up with two default logins. There is the default advisor login. Now, we have this to where you can edit the information on it, but you're not supposed to. We have it to where you can't make it inactive and you cannot delete it. And that is so that you'll always have, or someone has, top tier access to the program in order to submit it, or just have that access to be able to get the job done. Then you have one default staff login that's here. Now, on both of these, we don't suggest deleting or removing even this one when you get them. So leave this one always kind of as an emergency staff kind of backup. That way, if you have a new student coming in the year, they just need, they'd like to kind of join, or maybe they might want to be on the yearbook committee too. You don't have enough time to set them up with, their own login. Maybe you only have them help you on a page for like a day. Give them that generic staff login that you get, and that way, they could be able to help. Now, if you're working, say you are on a yearbook committee, you want to set up your staff, have them ready, have their own logins. All you need to do when you get in this area, come up to the upper right and click on Add Staff. Now from here, you're going to put in their first name, you're going to put in their last name. I'll just put in me. Username could be anything that, if they have a nickname, you can put in a nickname. A lot of advisors will either do like combination of first initial, last name, or maybe, first name, last initial. Some got a combination like that. Maybe they have a student number. You put in a student number. Now, when it comes to the password, what we're looking for here is your password must be a minimum of 10 characters. You must have an uppercase and a lowercase and uppercase letter and a number, and then they must match. So then we have them matching, and then there's the email. Now this spot's optional, but what this email spot is for is this is actually tied to that forgot your password link that's on the login screen. Now, depending on the yearbook committee that you have, if you have, and also depending on your school. So if you're working with kind of middle school to junior high to high school, a lot of times those students might have a school email ID that could be used there. But in a lot of cases, just depending on where the school is, maybe they don't have school email, or maybe they're not old enough. Maybe you're working with, some more elementary students that are just helping out and don't have an email address. What we suggest in that case, if they don't have an email address, is have the advisor put in their email address for that student. And that way, if the student forgets their password, they can click on the forgot their password link, and that will send an email to the advisor's email address. And that way, the advisor can help that student get their password reset, and then allow them to get back in and start helping on the book. So after that, the last thing we have to do here is select a role. Again, advisor role, this is top tier, this is all access. So if you're coming in, if you're part of, PTA, or maybe you're just a couple of teachers that got assigned the job, you have co-chairs, you might set that other person up as an advisor. That way they have the same and equal kind of access that you do. we don't really have a spot for business manager in here. It's kind of a remnant from a higher version of this program. Editor and staff. Now, staff is the lowest access. So staff is able to, not get to all areas under here, but staff is definitely able to do the most essential, which they can get on pages, they can add templates, they can build pages. Staff can also go into the image library and upload and organize images. The one thing that staff can't do, though, is staff are not able to delete it. They can upload, but they cannot delete images. The only one that can delete images is the advisor. And from now, when it comes to the pages, staff can lock pages or complete pages, but they're not able to unlock pages and they're not able to submit pages. So only the advisor can return those back. I did see a quick question come in that fits right in here. Can staff see pages that have not been assigned to them? Yes. So like I said earlier, staff, if they're in there, staff can see anybody else's pages, even if they're assigned to someone else. The only thing they're not able to do is if it is assigned to someone else. So we'll take two cases. We got Billy and Sally. So let's say Sally is assigned to a page, or page 3. Let's say Billy then comes on to page 3. He can look at it, but because he's not assigned to that page, he's not able to edit that page. Now, any page, I'm just going to put staff here real quick and go ahead. So I've got me, I'm in a staff. I'm going to hit save. So here I am in the staff. And so I'm going to go back to plan real quick, page ladder. And let's see, these are assigned, but this one I'll put as me. Okay, so I'm assigned to this page. Now remember to get that in there, make sure to go up and hit save all. That way it just stays. All right. So right here in this case of I'm assigned to this page, so I'm the only one that's able to edit this page except for the advisor. The advisor can the advisor has kind of override access and get on there. And, if I was out sick for a week and the advisor needed to get a really important page done, the advisor could come in here and finish it even though I'm assigned. However, anybody else that's assigned or has logins to the book, they can see my page, but they can't edit it just because they're not assigned to it. Unassigned pages throughout the book, unassigned pages are free game for everybody. So if it's not assigned, anybody can get on there and make any changes to it. Did want to go back into that staff area real quick. So under here, if you ever need to come in and as an advisor, get in here and help change, you can come in and edit their password. Also, if you ever wanted to see what any particular student was doing, is if you click the view off to the side, this will bring us into the activity or the action history. You can kind of keep track of who is doing what. I'm not logged in as that login, so right now it's just picking up me doing stuff as advisor here. We'll go back. Let's see, what else? We got login, set up staff, and viewing activity. Okay, so from here, let's do one other thing. I'm going to show you how to add fonts. And this is our font area. So under fonts, as you're looking through this, what we have here is just a whole big list of fonts. To kind of break these down, there is a drop down here to where you can kind of sort through the different categories. So there's script fonts. If we click on a font, it'll preview off to the side here. Now if we activate a font, It may not look like I did anything there because my cursor is still in the same spot. But one thing I just want to point out, that a font that is made active instantly jumps to the top of the list. So while you're down here looking at fonts, and let's say you're hitting active and you're going, well, I didn't see anything. What happened? It fooled us at the beginning too, just to admit. So any active font instantly jumps to up here to the top and is inactive. And then any font that is then active can then be used on your pages. From here, wanted to touch real quick about styles. Now your book starts with, I think, about 5 or 6 pre-made styles. And what styles are, basically what styles are working with text boxes. What these are is basically it's a predetermined, or it's an already set up font style and size. That way when you drag that text box over to the page, that's how that font's going to start. So you have a whole bunch of different ones here. So if you want to make your own style, basically I'm going to hit add style. Let's just say I want this to be a heading here. Font style, let's just change it to Brave. And it's a heading, so I'm going to want it decently big. So I'm going to go 36 and normal. Now the font attribute, right now on this particular font, I didn't have it, but let's say that I wanted a more basic font here. So your attribute would be things like bold, italic, underlined in that. I'm going to go back to, so this one has bold. So I can start there. Nope. Yeah. We'll just start with that. So we'll go heading. That's one of my headlines. So I got my font style, size, just a normal attribute here, and I'm going to hit save. And now we can kind of see that that's our style there. So basically when later, if I'm working on pages, I need to just, I don't want to use a template. I just want to make it quick. This is my own page, drag a text box on. That's how that text will start when brought on a page. You know what? I'll show you real quick here. So I'm going to take off the headline that's already on this one. I'll go into my text here, and here's my styles. Those same styles are there, and here's my style that I just set up. So if I bring it over to the page, there we go. There is my style. Now again, that's just how this text box starts. Once it's on the page, from here, you are able to change that to any other style, size, color on down the road. So styles, it's just how the text box starts, but come in pretty handy when you're building your own, or want to have your own, quickly be able to add certain styles in here for your headings. And let's see, what's the last thing under plan that we're covering here? Sorry if I'm kind of rushing through the end of this. I kind of went just a little bit over time, but if you're all still here, awesome. We're going to touch on ReplayIt here real quick. So again, I'm back under plan, and I'm under ReplayIt. Now what ReplayIt is our private photo submission. So if you are, so what is it? Well, ReplayIt it's a connected but separate site that allows members of your community to contribute images. So it's really beneficial to set up. It allows the community to get involved. You're able to set up this site where if a school event happens, you have members of the community that are all taking photos, and it's beneficial. They can help contribute images. That way you have content for the yearbook event, or just have content for the yearbook, specifically events and all that. So it's a quick setup. And when you come in here, there's a first little checkbox on, do you want to have a website for parents and others to upload images? You'll check that. You're going to enter a start date when that becomes available. So when you go to set it up, if you want to test it before you get the link out to people to contribute, make sure you put in that day's date. Because if you set it in the future, like 2 days from the day you're setting it up, it won't let you in until you get to that date. So if you're testing it and all that, make sure, go ahead and set it with today's date. Make sure to follow this format here, the year dash month dash day. Make sure you put that in exactly like that. It is kind of picky about how that gets in there. Now, when you're setting up an end date for your site, if you have the book that is, due in the spring, you want to shut it off a week before that. Make sure that you're putting your end date in is at least 2023. Because what will happen if you put in a date or dates that don't, or a date that has already passed, when you come down and hit save, it will blank out your setup. You'll basically have to go back and start over on setting it up. So just keep an eye on your dates. Make sure if you're going past January, put that in as 2023. The other thing that you'll have here is a maximum number of images. The default number here is 10,000. I guarantee you'll never get close to that, so feel free to adjust that. But you can also leave it at this. Just ensure that anyone at any time is able to contribute images. The last thing you'll do in here, so you got your first checkbox, your dates, then you'll do do you want the site enabled? You'll check that, and then you're going to hit save. Now, once you hit save, you'll then see a user ID show up for your site, but you also get this nifty little link here. You can copy and paste this and put this out to an email, send that out to anyone that wants to contribute it. We heard this works really good if you put it in like a school text blast or email blast, or even posting it on the school's website. Just make sure when you're copying it that you don't copy any extra spaces behind it. Make sure you just get right on that. So just make sure you grab that link, copy that out. The one place that we have found that is not beneficial to post, just avoid posting that link on Facebook. Facebook, through their system, changes that link somehow to where it doesn't, so it doesn't work. And it takes people directly to the login screen where they'll ask for a user ID. But even then, it's hard to get in with that user ID. Somehow Facebook has changed that. So where possible, text blast, email blast, school website, or just direct emailing it to parents themselves. They typically get right in with this link and can begin to upload photos. You also have a link here for a flyer that you can set up. So another way to go about this is to download this flyer. They have a login to the images.jostens.com. You're going to put in, so if I go back to the setup page, I think I got logged out. I think I accidentally logged out. Here, let me get back in there real quick. Here we go. I'm going to go back under ReplayIt. I'm going to grab this ID here. You would post that ID right in there. put your submission date in there, and then you can print that off and hand that out, or keep that flyer, hand that out to anyone around the school, or if you have a event, hand that out at any particular event, and that way parents can contribute images. All right. So the last thing that I'll kind of touch base on right now, it's just kind of setting you up for the next webinar that we'll have in not next week, but the week after. So if you're just now getting in your class photos, whether it's be a CD or if you're getting a link, if it's a CD, you actually get an actual CD this year, contact your sales rep and they can send you one of our padded envelopes that on one side of it has a portrait form, and it's going to tell you, how do you want those sorted. It's by grade level or by teacher homeroom. So if you have your class photos uploaded by grade level, that's everybody in the same grade level in one folder. If you have teacher homeroom, it's more broken down by class. Now, if you get a link from your photographer, say in most cases, one of the big ones out there is LifeTouch. If they send you a link, you will then forward that on to your sales rep, along with if there's additional login information that they would need. But a lot of times you just forward that link to your sales rep, let them know how you would like those photos to be uploaded. Now, once we get your photos, it usually takes about 3 to 5 business days before we can get those prepped and uploaded to your account. And then once they are in your account, you are then, good to check them out. You'll get an email notification that they're there. You'll then kind of check them out, and that's where we will kind of set up for the next time, where we kind of show you how to work with those images and then build your class pages. So from there, if there are any questions before we kind of sign off, I have a little bit of time if there's any questions that you'd like me to answer just about what we've gone over today. Okay, I'm not seeing anything coming in on the chat. So hopefully, oh, here we go. Okay, good question. When labeling, what should go in section description? Did I close out again? Oh, here we go. What should you put in there? As far as when you're labeling your page ladder, anything you need it to be. So basically, this is your own notes that will go into this spot. Anything to help you keep on track. If it's title page, principal page, this is just your own notes to let you know, hey, I'm putting this on the page. So it's not anything special, just what you want it to be. So if it's maybe a section as you get later down, maybe for section you could do something like class pages, but maybe as far as the description, you could get more involved, like 3rd grade, or whatever grade level is, or maybe do sports pages. These keep on. Come on. Sports pages and so on. But yeah, it's just anything to help help you kind of keep things in order as you're going through the book. Okay. Okay, so I'm not seeing anything else come in, so hopefully I did a good job on going through all of this. And if not, if you need to get a hold of us, if you ever need to get a hold of tech support, any other questions, please send us an email at memorybooktechsupport@jostens.com. You can also reach us by phone. You can reach us at 1-877-302-3140. So thank you, everyone, for joining me this afternoon. So I hope this webinar has helped to make the getting started process not feel so overwhelming. Please join us here in a couple weeks for Working with Portraits. We will be showing you how to organize your class photos and how you can use the autoflow function to build class pages. So thank you again. Have a great afternoon.